a situation where you have Muslims, Christians, and Jews all living together, pretty much in harmony. Yes, the Christians and the Jews have to pay tribute if they decide not to convert to Islam, but for the most part, they're all kind of working with one another. So in this case, because of the fact that they're all working with one another, a lot of times you'll have, as was brought up, two different philosophers, one Muslim, one Jewish, who end up kind of co-working on a project. The one that I specifically mentioned in your study guide was the kind of making Aristotelian philosophy match up with religion. Because prior to this, you are either a philosopher or you are someone who's very religious. You can practice both. They found a way to make Aristotelian philosophy kind of coincide and not contradict their various religious beliefs. So those were the two philosophers that I made mention of. Are there other questions about Al-Andalus? Or did that refresh your memory enough?
Can you give the name again?
This one.
Yeah. Okay, other questions?
So why did the Byzantine Empire fall?
Alright, why did the Byzantine Empire fall? The Byzantine Empire fell for pretty much the same reasons that the Roman Empire fell, and pretty much every other empire fell. They overextended themselves, and so they had to tax their people. Within taxing the people, you overtax them, and you get to the point where people are not able to pay those taxes. And so your economy falters. You also have the situation of people coming in trying to attack. For Rome, it was the various Goth groups. In Byzantine, it was the Turks, the Muslims. So you have high taxes, you have invasions, you also have poor leadership. You don't have any of those really good, strong emperors like Marcus Aurelius or Constantine. You get a series of very poor leaders who mismanage the economy, mismanage the military, and so you have a weakening within the government. Those three things are pretty consistent in terms of why do empires fall. Some empires might have another extra twist to them, but those are the big three things that you'll see every time I ask the question, why does an empire fall?
And you're saying invasion, like for them it was from Muslims, like the Muslims kind of.
For the Byzantine Empire, it was the invasion of the Muslims. If you want to know the particular group, it was the Seljuk Turks.
Do you think like you would get that specific on that?
I may.
Why? Because it's good to know.
Because there are lots of different groups.
Why would
We are using dates.
The only date you need to know is 1453.
That's it. All kinds
It's like no.
Can I change?
Yep.
Okay. Under important places it says Toledo.
Toledo, if you're pronouncing it like a Spanish.
Wait,
So
it's spelled T-O-L-E-O.
Toledo.
Okay.
Yeah. It's one of the major cities in Spain under Al-Andalus and is a major trading center in medieval Spain. But if you want to know more specific stuff, take a look at your Al-Andalus notes or when we look at the video. Toledo, T-O-L-E-D-O. If you're talking about the city in Ohio, it's pronounced Toledo. But in Spain, it's Toledo. Grace?
Where was Cordoba?
Cordoba was also Spain. It's with Al-Andalus. Cordova's where that famous mosque is that you have as a picture in your GDQ.
Wait, so for the short answer questions, like, what are you gonna ask? Like what type of questions?
What type of questions for short answer?
Yeah.
I might ask you like, what are the 3 main reasons that empires fall?
Oh,
Something that really can't be answered in a multiple choice. But they'll be more generalized. I'm not going to be asking very
Yeah.
specific questions as short answer.
yeah, okay, that's
Okay.
Like, did you already go over how Constantinople fell?
Those Turks sacked the city 1453.
I wrote that under.
The fall of the Byzantine Empire is the same thing as the fall of Constantinople.
Really?
The
Constantinople's the capital of the Byzantine Empire. So the fact that Constantinople fell and went into the hands of the Turks means the Byzantine Empire is no more.
True.
Other questions?
Oh, 1453, the French recaptured the land.
Thank you. 1453 is also the end of the 100 Years' War. That's the other reason why you
Oh,
need to know
what was that
1453.
It's the what?
It's the end of the 100 Years' War.
So pretty much like as soon as the 100 Years War ended, then all of a sudden they were fighting to, they all started fighting and like the Islams took over.
Hey, what was that?
All right, take this. 1453. Muslims, the Turks, are coming in. They sack Constantinople. Byzantine Empire is no more. The 100 Years' War that had been going on between England and France, that was a totally separate incident. But it just so happened it was the same year that France finally captured the last fort, outpost, that the British had in what we now refer to as France.
Yep.
And thus ended the 100 Years' War. So this is why we say 1453 is the end of the medieval period, because you lose your last vestiges of Rome, and with the end of the fighting between the English and the French, you now have the concept of nationalism really solidified. And so we're moving more into the modern era at this point in time.
I'm just wondering, like, if they had a 100 Years War and they were both fighting, why would they suddenly go and start fighting this war with
Because the 2 Crusades we talked about, the first one happened in 1099. The second one happened in around 1201. The 100 Years' War didn't start until like in the late 1340s. Because remember, it was just over 100 years, even though we call it the 100 Years' War.
So that was.
So that's all after the First and Fourth Crusades.
Oh.
The fact that the Turks came in and sacked Constantinople has nothing to do with Crusades. It has to do with just plain old breakaway Muslim expansion.
I thought that was because the Byzantine Empire didn't have money. They sacked them because.
Yeah, that is in 1200 when the Fourth Crusade happens. It was the Crusaders from Europe that sacked Constantinople then.
Okay.
Constantinople gets sacked a second time in 1453, and it's that second one that knocks off the Byzantine Empire.
Oh, so first time was the Crusaders, the second time.
Second time was the Turks, yes.
Wait, can you go over what was the 100 Years' War?
Yeah, just agree with
All right,
that
100 Years' War. Those were the series of battles between the English and the French. And please note that it's the English. Great Britain doesn't exist yet, because England and Scotland have not become united. So England is fighting France. This is because one of the causes is when King Philip of France dies, the King of England thinks that he should be able to lay claim to the French throne because his grandfather was that King Philip. However, he is the grandson through the maternal line. So his mother was the daughter of King Philip. The French, first, don't want an English king. And second, you get the throne through the paternal line, through fathers, not mothers. Unless, of course, we're talking about